Hi, thanks for checking out this systems thinking intro. I'm Terry from Firetree Philanthropy, and we've put together a facilitator guide for Pinoy teams, orgs, and communities who want to explore systems thinking for the first time. So today I wanted to quickly walk you through some of the basics, and you'll see much more in our facilitator guide. And at the end of this video, I've also included a link where you can download our full guide. But before we start, I wanted to do a quick disclaimer. This is all a work in progress. We are not academics or systems experts, but we are community builders who have seen how helpful systems thinking can be when we are trying to understand and solve challenges that our teams and communities face in the Philippines. And it would be great to have more local and homegrown systems thinking material. So if you're interested in this and would love to collaborate, we would really love to hear from you and connect with you. So let's get started. When I think about why systems thinking is a valuable perspective for anyone to have, I always go back to this statement. Everything is connected to everything else. Ang lahat ng bagay ay magkaugnay. This is wisdom from our elders and our IP communities, but we also experience this every day. Everything is interconnected. We live in a world that is full of systems, inside us and all around us. We can look within ourselves, at our own bodies that are made up of so many different systems. It's amazing how our mind and our body are so connected that your mental well-being can affect your physical health and vice versa. We even see these systems in nature, how every little plant and animal has a role to play in the ecosystem. If you remove even just one of it, it affects the whole balance. We can also see how we are connected to the lives of others. Imagine how a simple act of kindness, like contributing to a scholarship, can have a ripple effect throughout the life of a student and their family. We experience systems even when we do our daily activities. So think about it. Why can a drought that happened hundreds of miles away affect the price of vegetables in your local market? These are all examples of systems. And systems thinking helps us to recognize and understand this world of systems that we live in. It also helps us if we want to try to shift these systems and solve problems. So what is a system? In the Philippines, when we hear the word system, many people assume it's referring to the government system or socioeconomic systems. Yes, these are examples of very large systems, but systems thinking can also be applied to many other contexts, even within your own organizations and homes. At the most basic level, a system is something that has different parts, and sometimes we call these elements. These parts interact with each other, they have relationships, and they follow certain rules. These interactions also lead to events or patterns or results. So I know this all sounds so abstract. So let's look at a specific example. We can look at your family as a system. Who are considered to be the members of your family? These are the parts of your system. What are the different roles that each member plays? And what is the relationship like between the different family members? What are the rules that are enforced in your family? What are the patterns of behavior that come out of the relationships and the rules? Systems thinking is not just about seeing and understanding the systems around us. It also helps us to solve long-standing problems or what we call systemic problems. May problema ba sa komunidad mo na hindi mawala-wala? At nasabihan ka na bang wala ka nang magagawa tungkol dito? Yan ang mga systemic problems. And systems thinking helps us to look beyond the surface of the problem and see the hidden forces that are keeping it in place. So we need to look deeper. We need to see what is beneath the surface of a problem. And a great way to imagine this is by thinking about the Taal volcano. We all grew up being told that Taal was the smallest volcano in the world. But that's wrong. It's actually a very large and complex volcano system connected underground. And when it erupted in 2020, that's when we saw the true power that was hiding underneath. The same goes for systems and solving systemic problems. We shouldn't just react to the events that we see or what is easily observable on the surface. We have to look at the patterns. What has been happening over time? We have to think about what are the structures, policies, and practices that are causing these patterns to happen. And finally, what are people's beliefs and assumptions that are keeping the problem in place? The deeper we go, the more chance we have of changing things and making a bigger impact. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Systems thinking is not a magic solution or a process that can solve all of our problems, but it allows us to look at the same problems in a different and a more complete way, and it helps us to ask the right questions. So as a final part of this intro, we wanted to share with you the different mindsets of a systems thinker. These ideas are not new. Most of them will feel familiar and sound like common sense because they are. These are mindsets and practices that have worked over time and have helped build long-term change. Look beyond what is obvious and always ask why to find out the root causes. We need to dig deeper instead of just reacting to what we see. Try to see the bigger picture and recognize interconnections. This is where systems mapping is very helpful. Zoom in and zoom out. Try using different perspectives. As systems thinkers, we have to be able to shift between different perspectives. Look at the long term and the short term, the micro and the macro, the internal and the external. How is a system affecting the life of a single person, and how is it affecting the larger society? Work for the good of all. We should always ask ourselves, who are being excluded or are being left behind? Are there other voices in the community that need to be heard? We must try to build systems that work for the good of all. Collaborate with humility and empathy. We must have humility to accept that we do not have all the answers and that we should be able to listen and learn even from those who we may not agree with. We should always try to find leverage points. These are places in the system where small actions can cause big changes. We should always keep learning and be open to new ideas. And finally, we have to be prepared for uncertainty and failure because systems are complex and unpredictable. So we have just barely scratched the surface of systems thinking, but I hope that you found this intro to be helpful and that it inspires you to learn more. You can download our facilitator's guide here at the link, and we really hope to hear from you. We would love to collaborate. So all of the material that we put out here is on a Creative Commons license. So please feel free to take the content, make it more relevant for your community or your advocacy. If you feel that your org has already great examples that we can include in the guide, please get in touch. And if you're an artist or a creative and you have ideas about how systems thinking can be shared across different local communities, we would also love to hear from you. So thanks again for your time. Bye.